name is Pellacio, and I am the chef owner of Fatty Crab Restaurant and Fatty Q Restaurant in Manhattan and Brooklyn. Assam Laksa is a traditional sour fish broth served with the classic laksa noodle, which is a rice noodle. But I have a little bit of oil here, so you can imagine the oil gets really hot when you pour it into a sort of medium-high heat. And you throw in some shallots, you throw in some lemongrass, garlic, and this is a sliced red chili. I'm going to sweat all these ingredients together. And galangal, which is a root, if some of you are not familiar with galangal, it's a rhizome like ginger. So we have turmeric root and galangal root here that we throw into our base for our Assam Laksa broth. And while that's cooking down, you also add what is sort of the core and base to many broths, gravies, curries, what have you, throughout Malaysia, is belacan. And belacan you'll often find in the States and even in Asia in packs like this. And then you dry it out a little bit and you crumble it into your broth or into your soup. And you don't need to use a lot of it. It's very strong, it's very pungent. And while that's cooking out, I've started to fillet, just before the demo began, I started to fillet some sardines. And sardines are going to bring the real fishy flavor to this broth. You want to fillet your sardines, and we're going to use the bones for the broth, and we're going to reserve the fillets to finish the soup. The bones, very important to the broth. Throw your bones in there. You're going to cook up your bones in the broth. You're going to get a nice fishy smell. You're going to let that cook for a while. And your crab stock. Or as I said earlier, if you only have one or the other or neither, you're going to add whatever liquid you have. And you add just enough to cover by about 1 inch all the aromatic vegetables and fish bones that you added to your broth. So we're going to let this simmer. After it's simmered away and your broth has come up to a boil, you've turned it down, you've let it come to a nice lazy simmer, you're going to throw in a couple of souring components to the dish. And now Assam means sour, so here's the Assam part of the broth. This here, I don't know if we can see it again, right? This is a dried fruit. It's called Assam Gelagur. We also have chilies, dried chilies, and I like to tear them up and I'll throw them into the broth. So we have our chilies, we have our Assam Gelagur, our sour Gelagur fruit, and to add a little bit more sour flavor, we have tamarind. So we add that to our broth and give it a stir, and then we'll let this simmer. And so we have this murky looking liquid. So what I have here are these rice noodles, and they can be cold or hot. This hot broth is going to soften them right away. And what you want to do is you're going to drop your fillets of sardine right into your warm broth, and they're going to cook up. I'm going to ladle over this hot broth with my beautiful sardine fillets. Catch a couple there. Oh, that looks great. Perfect. So now we have a lot of broth, beautiful sardine fillets. We'll arrange them here. And our noodles, which have been blanched, are softened by the hot liquid. The final component of this dish, which is the garnish, and it's very important. So the garnish consists of some of this red chili that we also used to make our broth, some finely sliced red chili, traditional cucumber, standard cucumber, just cut into julienne strips. They give a nice crunch, so it's a nice textural contrast. Mint leaves, your standard mint leaves. I just like to tear them and throw them in, very simply like this. They smell great. They really give a great garden note. And then, in addition to the mint leaves, it's rau rum or Vietnamese mint or Vietnamese coriander, depending on who you're talking to. And then to add a little bit of sweetness and a little bit of color, a little bit of julienne pineapple. So you finish it with some pineapple. And then what is not traditional, but Corwin introduced this to the soup years ago at Fatty Crab, is the addition of these small ikan bilis, these dried anchovies. Another salty note, and there you have a delicious traditional Assam Laksa.